Hello everybody. I think we're about a minute early, but got lots going on in the shop, so I'm just going for it. Happy Tuesday. I'm feeling a little bit better. Not 1,000%, but I'm a little bit better today, which is nice. I've got a little bit more energy today. Mind you, I went to bed at 8 o'clock. I went to bed with at 8 o'clock with my laptop to write some patterns, but I got all cosy in bed with my laptop, which was nice. So I rested up a little bit last night, which was good. Made me feel much better today. How are you all? Hopefully you're all okay. Everyone's good. We are, Sarah and I are really busy in the shop. We are packing up all the kits and all for Hochanda next Thursday. So we've got Hochanda on Sunday, which is like an extra show. We've snuck in a little extra one very last minute. So I've got one on at 9 AM on Sunday. But I'm doing that one by Skype because of the travel and stuff. So doing that one by Skype. And then Thursday, going up to the studios. And I've got 2 shows on Thursday at 1 PM and 5 PM. So yeah, lots and lots of prep work. Massive amounts of prep work. Loads going on. So as well as all your orders and prepping for the 1 o'clocks, we're exhausted. We're absolutely knackered. And our little weekend that we've had it booked for like 6 months, obviously with COVID and everything in the lockdown, it got cancelled. So we don't even get that at the end of January now. So phooey. But who's there today? Who's coming online?
We got Sheila.
Hi Sheila.
Helen.
Hi
Heather,
Helen. Hi Heather.
Carolyn.
Hi Carolyn.
Those are the first 4 to comment.
Fab. Hi everybody. Hopefully everybody is okay and all well. It's a grey, miserable old day here today, but we're going to do a bit of crochet today, just to mix it up a little bit. And so we're going to do some crochet today, and we're going to do a spike stitch, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But I thought I'd show you these first. These have just come in. These are Dove. So we've got some of this on the bolt. We had this come in on the bolt just before Christmas, and I think I showed it you on the 1 o'clock. But we've had the pre-cuts come in. So we've had just 4 layer cakes and 4 jelly rolls come in. So I thought I'd show you this because I genuinely love this. I'm gonna have to make something in it because the colours in this are just stunning. It's called Dover, but then the colours are called sea glass and porcelain, and they're just the gentlest, most beautiful colour range. I love this grey. It's just yummy. Really nice. So, and this blue, this like eau de Nil blue, is just yum. And I think you've got like 2 of each pattern in this one. Oh, let me see if I can. I think that one's one of my favourites. I think that's gorgeous, really lovely. So we've got the layer cakes at £32.95. It's not as previously, and we've got a jelly roll as well. We've just got 4 of each of them. So if I just gently roll that, hopefully Al can get that for me. So Alex is filming today for me, because we've got lots of close-up work with the crochet, and he's good at the close-up work. Okay, so that's the jelly roll. So like I said, just thought I'd show you those because they are delicious and I love it. So it's still very snuffly, I'm afraid. I'm going to sneeze. It's brewing, I can feel it. I did put a challenge post up quite late yesterday, I forgot. It's on our main page, and I put it on the Gigglers page as well. So that was to show us your baby makes. So please do comment and post your pictures below those posts, okay? If you just send them in Messenger on a separate post, I try and go through them all, but they might get missed. So if you put them on those posts, we'll draw that on Thursday. Sal draw that when she's doing the live on Thursday. And I've collated a nice little prize for that. So yeah, comment away. Remember to share the post with any of your groups or friends or anything that's so, and they can all post pictures as well, and you can all be in chance to win. And well, you know what our giveaways like. We always do your nice little prize and stuff. So just before we start the crochet, just thought I'd let you know I unpicked him and saved his ear. I unpicked the ear, and it's very slightly shorter, but I unpicked him. So I've just got to do a little bit of hand sewing, and he's done now, and put his face on from yesterday. But yeah, I couldn't leave the ear like that. I was like, no, it's got to be unpicked. So I did. I unpicked him and saved him. So what we're going to do today is a spike stitch. Okay, and this is spike stitch. Okay, it's worked over 2 rows in 2 colours, but you could do lots of colours. You could do all different rows of colours if you wanted to. And it's a really nice, it's kind of double-sided because it's quite nice on the back as well, like this. You get this lovely pattern on the back. I quite like it because it gives it a really quite a chunky feel. It's quite a thick fabric it makes once you've crocheted it up, which makes it really, really warm. It also grows really quickly, and I think actually if you did like stripes of colour, that would look really, really nice as well. You could work out all sorts of patterns with it. I just made a little pair of wrist warmers in them because I was feeling rough over the weekend. I wasn't up to any sewing, so I sat and made little wrist warmers. Okay, these whipped up these in an evening. They're nice and easy to do. They're literally a rectangle, and you just leave a gap for your fingers, because they say if your wrists are warm, your fingers will stay warm, don't they? So, you all right?
Yep.
Was it playing up a bit again?
Turn the camera the wrong way.
So, I thought I'd show you. I mean, these generally probably took me about 40 minutes a wrist warmer, a glove. Really nice and easy and quick to do. Nice little project for in front of the TV, because it's a repeating pattern. You don't really have to concentrate very much, okay? So, and I'll just talk you through how to make those at the end of the little demo, okay? So we're going to start with a chain, okay, as we do with a lot of things. I'm going to do it again just in these two colours, just so I can use them up. Now, because chains tend to be, can you see that this one is quite tight? There's my chain there, and then it kind of, once you relax into the fabric, once you relax into it, it kind of goes a little bit wider and then stays straight. That's because chains tend to be, when you chain, you tend to be a lot tighter than when you actually crochet. So I'm going to do it all on a 3.5, because I want quite a close texture, and I'm a very loose crocheter. But I'm going to do the chain half on a 4, so half up. So if you're a tight crocheter and you use a 4, I would do the chain on a 4.5, so that it's a little bit looser and you don't get that sort of tightness at the beginning. It's worked over 2 rows. Let me just grab, where's the end gone? Lost the end of my wool. Where's the end of my wool gone? There we go. It's worked over a 2-row pattern, and it's 2 rows of each colour as you do it. And you want an odd number on your whatever, because you could make this into blankets. You know, you could do a massive long chain and make a blanket with this. You could do shorter ones. You could use it for hats, all sorts. We're just going to talk about the stitch today, and then I'll briefly talk you through the wrist warmers. But you want an odd number. So for my wrist warmers, I worked out that they would be 25 on a chain long. So because of how the chain works, I'm going to do 27 to start with. Okay, so very boring, but I've got a slip knot on my hook to start. I'm sure you're all okay with crochet now. And then I'm just going to do a chain of 27. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. While I do this 27, who's there? Who said hello?
We got Carolyn said, nice wrist warmers. I like fingerless gloves. Jean said they look great.
Ooh. Yeah, and really easy to do as well. I'll show you in a minute how to do them. I'll just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Kate said, hello everyone. Shan said they're cute. Bunch more hellos. Marion said, looking for the binding tutorial you did last week.
The facing tutorial, it was on Monday last week. So if you scroll back, if you go onto our Facebook page and go to videos, it was Monday last week, which was the 4th. So it should be on there. They all do stay on there. Okay. So I've done 27 as my chain, because I want it to end up as 25 stitches. And then I'm going to go into the 3rd chain from the hook. Okay. It's all worked with double crochets. So I'm going to count down 1, 2, and then go into this 3rd one here. And I'm just going to do a row of double crochets. So into each stitch, I'm going to insert my hook, pull through, wrap, pull through both of them. So it's double crochets all the way along. So 1, 2, 3, 4, there we go, 5, and I'm just going to do a double crochet all the way along to the end. Okay, so while I'm doing that, talk to me ladies, because otherwise it's going to be very dull with me just counting.
Nikki said, is that DK wool?
It is. It's double knit wool, but you could do it in chunky. You could do it in whatever you like. You know, just use the appropriate hook size for whatever wool you're using. But if you want to make the little wrist warmers with using these sizes, they would be. I've used double knit wool. Like I said, I'm doing the first row on a size 4 hook. I've done the chain in the first row on a size 4, just to make sure it's not too tight. And then I'm going to change to a 3.5 because my tension is very loose. So I always tend to go down a hook size with mine when I want a thicker fabric, a less holey fabric. Okay, so chain's always a weeny bit difficult, but I'm just going into each stitch on the chain, which will give me 25 double crochets. Okay. Any other questions or comments there?
Claire said, perfect crochet project for me today.
Ah, yes, absolutely. Oh, you're doing really well on your crochet, Claire. I've seen your pictures. You're doing fab. But yes, this is and it's a nice, easy one because it's like it's basically one stitch. Okay, so I've done a row of double crochet like that all the way along. So I've got 25 on there, and then I'm going to turn my work like that, and we're going to do another row. Okay, so I'll just get the tail out of the way. I'm going to do a chain just to get my height at the beginning so you don't get a nasty little knot, and then hopefully you can see. So I'm going to go into this first stitch here, which is that little gap. Hopefully you can see that little gap there. So that's my first stitch, and I'm making sure I'm catching both sides of the stitch, the little V, catching both sides. So pull up again and go through. So there's my double, and I'm going to just whip down this row again. Okay, so all the way down like that. Now these first couple of rows are going to be very dull for you to watch, okay, but I wanted to do it from the start for you just so that you can see how to get going. There's no point me doing lots of little steps. So I'm going to go all the way along like this, and then I'm going to show you how to change colour, because you're going to do 2 rows of each colour. Okay, this would be a perfect project if you didn't want necessarily it all to be the same colour. This works really well for using up scraps of fabric. You could, use up all those little, like 20 grams that we have left over from projects. Maybe choose one colour for the lines, and then do lots of colours in the on the little bricky bits. Excuse me. Let me just roll off some wool. Okay, nearly at the end. And you can see it gets quite curly, but don't worry about that. That will all even out in a moment. Oh, I didn't change the hook size. Right, I'll do that now on the next row. So I'm going to go all the way down like this. And when I get to the last stitch, which is this one here, okay, I'm going to pop my hook in and pull up the yarn like that. So I've got 2 on my hook. But instead of using this colour, I'm going to pull through the new colour. And that way you don't get any of those horrible little blips that you sometimes get. Okay, so I'm going to pull through using the new colour. So I'm going to wrap the new colour and pull that through. So I'm starting my new row with my new colour. Okay, I'll show you that again in a moment, all right, once we get to the next colour change. And then I'm afraid it's another 2 rows of double crochet before I can get to the bit that, the interesting bit. So chain 1 to start, and away we go again. So I'm just going to go down like this, all the way down. So please do talk to me. What have you been up to? Tell me what you've been making. Have you read any interesting books? What have you been watching on Netflix? What have you all been up to? Any questions there?
Carol said, I purchased the mouse pin cushion template.
Yeah.
Are there 2 sizes of mice?
I don't know, lovely. Because it was Sarah's pattern. Is it 2 sizes of mice, or is one? I don't know. I will find out for you and comment on the video later and let you know. Okay, I don't know if Sarah's there. She might not be watching because she might be busy cutting and stuff. But I will double check for you. I didn't think there were 2 sizes of mice, but there might have been. It wasn't my project, that one. It was Sarah's, so I'm not sure off the top of my head, I'm afraid. Okay, so all the way down. So it's very dull for you to watch at the minute, but we're going to get to the good stuff in a minute. Okay, like that. So these are basically your setup rows, okay? You're setting up the spike stitch. So one more, and then we're going to swap colour again. So chain one at the beginning, and down we go again. So any other questions there while I go down this row?
Mary said, I'm not good at changing colours. Could I do it in just one colour?
You could, but you're not going to get that sort of like, you know, that pattern, that definition. It would be very muted. You know, you wouldn't really see the spike stitch and stuff. Have another go at changing colours. It's ever so easy. I'll show you again now on how to do it. And you don't have lots of ends to sew in with this, because you can run the colour up the side, which I'll show you. You could absolutely do this in one colour, but you're not going to get that pattern definition if you do. It might be an interesting texture though. Might be an interesting texture, but yeah, not so much with the patterning. Okay, nearly there, and then we can do the next row is the spike stitch row. Okay, and nearly at the end. You can see at the moment it's just double crochet, so it's really nice and easy. So here we go again on the pattern, on the colour change. So I didn't cut the beige, okay, I've left the sort of oatmeal beige colour on. So on my last stitch, okay, let me move this out of the way so you can see this. I'm going to insert my hook, pull through with the blue, but instead of wrapping and pulling through with the blue, I'm just going to grab my beige one, which is still attached, just gently bring it up the side like this and pull through, okay? And because it's only 2 rows each colour change, that little bit there doesn't matter. I mean, if you were doing like 5 or 6 rows, you would struggle to just run the colours up the side. But because it's only 2 rows, it works really well on this pattern, okay? So again, hardly any ends to sew in. Right, now we're going for the spike stitch. We're going to do this in the beige. So I'll just pull off some yarn. I'm going to chain 1 like that, and you're going to put a double crochet in that very first stitch. So in, pull through, wrap through both of them, and then this is where the spike comes in. So I'm going to lie this flat just a second so hopefully you can see. So this is my first stitch here, my first stitch. So you would normally be, if you're just doing double crochets, you'd work into this stitch here. But what you want to do is you actually want to work down into this stitch here. So you're going down into the beige, okay? So it is in line with that one, but you're coming right the way down here. So let me just pick all this up again. So I'm not going to wrap, I'm going to insert my hook right the way down there, pull up the yarn, give it a wiggle so you've got some length on it, okay, because you don't want it all down tight like this because you'll end up with a little knot. Give it a wiggle, get some length on it, wrap and pull through. Okay, so can you see it's come right down to there. Then your next stitch along, you're going to put a double crochet like that. And then now it's quite easy to see. You can see it was in this one here, so you're going to skip one and you're going to go into this one here. So we're going to go down, pick up the yarn, give it a wiggle, wrap and through. Okay, next stitch, double crochet. So it's all still double crochets, but this long stitch is just a wiggly one. You know, you just got to give it a wiggle, give it some length. So you can see it's in this one here. So I'm going to miss one and it's going to go in this one here. So down, pick up the yarn, give it a wiggle, get that length, pull through. And in the next one, and then count over. So I'm in that one, not that one, so I'm going in that one, give it a wiggle, pull through, double crochet in the next one, and then spike in the next one, so count over. And it's only really this first row you need to count, because when we do the next lot of spikes, you can really see where it is. It comes into the pattern nice and easily. So double crochet, 1, 2, there we go, into that one, wiggle it up, double in the next one, and then a spike stitch again, so not there, it's in that one, so not that one, that one. Is that all making sense, ladies? Can you just see what I'm doing? Okay, hopefully you do. Can you see how that's now coming along like that? I'm sorry, let me just grab that a second. And then count along, 1, 2, down and pull up like that. Double crochet, and then 1, 2, double, and then double crochet in the next one, and then count over, 1, 2, like that. Double crochet in that one. Nearly there, 1, 2, like that. Double crochet, and then it's going to be in that one there, and then when you get to the end you've got to make sure that you do a double crochet on that very last one. It's easy to miss that one. Okay, so just make sure you do a double crochet to finish like that, and then we turn it, and can you see there's the back? It's quite nice on the back as well. And we're just going to do another row of plain double crochet. So it really is like it's 3 rows of plain doubles and then 1 row of spikes, and it's such a nice easy little pattern, but it's so effective. There we go. So I'm just doing a double crochet into the top of each one, and you should have 25 stitches each time, so every now and then just count your stitches to make sure that you're not losing any, okay, because otherwise you end up with triangles instead of rectangles. We're going to work our way along like this, just doing double crochets. Ever so easy, this one. Any questions there while I'm just getting to the end?
I think, yeah, Sara commented that there was only 1 mouse size, but it should be easy to change.
Right, okay, cool. Hopefully that helps. Sorry, I can't remember, Claire it was, wasn't it, who asked about it? Yeah, there was only 1 mouse size. If you've got any questions, you can always give us a call and we can talk you through the template, okay? There we go. So that's technically 2 rows of my beige colour, because the spike row was 1 row and this second row of double crochets was my row number 2. So when I get to the end here, my last one, I'm going to change colour again. So I'm going to pull up the beige like that. So I've got 2 on my hook. Find the blue, which is still attached. Run it up the side. Again, don't pull too tight. You want it to lie nice and flat. And pull that through. Okay? And you can see that just, hopefully you can see that just runs up the side nice and easily. I don't know if I can get in there. That just runs up the side. You're not, that will all disappear into any seam when you knit or crochet together, or if you make the wrist warmers, okay? So I'm going to turn. And it's back to really dull, I'm afraid. Just, well, it's not dull because it's nice and easy to do in front of the TV, but dull for you guys to watch. 2 rows in the blue. Or it's at this point you could, you know, do a different colour. If you've got lots of little scraps and stuff, you could, you know, you could do a Sarah Jane and you could rainbow them. You could start with, you know, your blues in all at the bottom and work your way through your colours up to your reds and stuff. You know, or, you know, black and white. Black and white would look like a houndstooth check, wouldn't it? Is it houndstooth? The check? Yeah, I'm sure that's what it's called. You know, so you could play around with your colours with this. So I'm just working all the way to the end. Oh, I'll just unroll some more wool. There we go. And I want to do another row of the spikes for you, because I want to show you where you're going to put the spike. And it is it's not tricky, it's incredibly easy, but it's just you just need to get used to where you're going to put the stitch on the next row, because this time you had just doubles, but the next row you've got to try and hit the right point in the spike. So I'm just going to whip up these 2. So that's 1 row in the blue. Turn like that, and we're going to do another row in the blue. So chain 1 to start, and then into every one, making sure now and then on one of these rows I'd make sure I counted just to make sure I've got that 25. Any questions or anything there? Well, you haven't told me what you're reading, what you're watching at the moment. Anybody doing anything? Anybody watching anything interesting?
So Fiona said The Serpent, very tense. Don't know if that's reading or watching.
Oh, Fiona, what's that? Is that a TV series or is that a book? Let me know. I'm looking for something new to read at the moment.
Jean said, I've read some Dan Black books.
All right.
They have a romance theme, a romance craft theme from sewing bees, quilting bees, and baking.
Oh.
They are mainly set in Scotland, but a bit set in Wales.
All right. Okay. Oh, I'll have to have a little look at those. That sounds interesting. Okay, and then again I'm coming, this is because it's the end of my second row, I'm going to change that colour again. So I'm going to go in, pull up that old colour, and then grab the new colour and go through like that. Okay, so I've pulled up the new colour, I've got the new colour on the hook. And then we're on a row of spike stitches again. So, okay, I'm going to show you where you want to go on this one. So I'm going to chain one, and you're going to do 1 double crochet in that first stitch, like that. And then you want to find, so you're going to go in, can you see with this like little, I don't know, you might need to come quite close on this, Al. Where this little V is here, okay, you want to go in right in the centre of that, okay, and what that does is, oh, hopefully, typically it didn't. Oh, I'm still on my big hook as well. I meant to change, didn't I, to the little hook. There we go. It'll come through. You want it to come through the V on the back. Okay, so for the first row, I would double check. When you go into the, hang on, let me pull it out. So what you're doing is you're going to go, let me just get this with the end of the hook. You're going to insert your hook right in the centre there. There is a little hole in there. That's like the top of this blue double crochet. And when you insert the hook, you want to make sure that it's coming through the centre of that one there. Otherwise it pushes them out and you get some pushed and some in the centre and it looks messy. So I think it's nice to try and get it in the same way. So I'm going to push my hook in like that, making sure it's on the back. Pull up and give it that wiggle again. Okay. And pull through. Double crochet in the next one. So it's exactly the same, but you just need to make sure that you're putting it in the right place. So where before you had like an obvious hole, this isn't necessarily an obvious hole. So you're going to go right in the centre and you'll feel if the hole's right, which it wasn't there, like that. And pull up, give it a wiggle to get that length, and a double crochet in the next one. And again, so like that. Oh, there we go, like that. Pull up and through. Now, did that make sense, everybody? Is everybody all right with that? With what they're doing with that? So I'm going to do a double crochet there. So I'm going to go down through there like that. You see, and if you angle it just right, it does split that V at the back, which is what you want. And in the next one, and then down into this one like that, and pull up. You just want to give it that wiggle as you pull up into the next one like that. So you're going to go down and in, make sure it splits at the back. And after a while, after you've done a few rows, it becomes really like second nature about pushing like that as you go in. So it splits it each time. There we go. And you just work your way along, just like that, just like last time, but you're just working into that. And I would just make sure each time that you're hitting the right bit. And then down and in like that. There we go. And all the way along. Like that. Oh, so I'm just going to go to the end of the row. And then it's just a repeat of that. So I would do another row of the beige, just in double crochets. And then 2 rows of my blue. And then I do a row of the spike stitches. Row of beige, 2 rows of blue, and it's like that all the way along. It's really, really nice and easy. And it actually, once you've got, I mean, I'm doing this at a bit of a stretch at a really odd angle, but when you're like sat down on the sofa, nice to film on the telly or something. It's a nice little one. So I'm going to get to the end like that. There we go. So I'm not going to do any more just on that bit because it's just very, very repetitive. So I'd go back, I'd turn it, and I'd go a row of doubles in the beige, change my colour, 2 rows of blue, and then another row of the spike stitches. And you just keep working your way up like that until your piece of fabric is as big as you want it to be. You know, if you've got 120 stitches on there on the chain and you're making a blanket, you know, you just keep going and going and going. It's a really warm stitch. It's quite a thick sort of, substantial stitch. So it will keep you really nice and warm. You've got a real body to it. And you just keep going and going and going. Okay. With these little wristlets, if you want to have a go at these, I did 10 rows. So if you have a look at the spikes, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 rows of spikes. So I chained 25, well 27, and then ended up with 25, and did just as I did here. Just went round, you know, backwards and forwards, until it was long enough for me. Now you might want them to be, in fact, actually, if you come up to me a second, Al, you might want them to be much longer. You might want them to come down your wrists more. So 10 rows of the pattern worked really well for me. 10 lots of spikes worked well, and then I just went round and backwards and forwards for a little bit with double crochets. I think I did 6 rows just to bring them up my fingers a little bit. Okay, you might want them to come down your wrists a weeny bit more, you know, so you might want to do 12 or 14 rows of spikes. But when it gets to, I know this isn't big enough, this little practice piece, but when it kind of, you can measure it on yourself and think, actually, no, I need a little bit more than that. Okay. Now this was 30 stitches, this one. You can also, you know, vary the chain length. So if you've got wider hands, or, you know, you were making them for a bloke maybe, you know, got much bigger hands than me or you, then you might want them wider as well. Okay. Once you've made, you're literally going to make a rectangle of fabric. Just a rectangle of crocheted fabric, okay? Doesn't, you know, whatever size you choose for your wristlets. And like I said, on the top, I literally just stopped changing colours and just went double crochet. I think I did 6 rows just to give it a little edge, a little cuff. And that actually brings it in a weeny bit as well. So you've got, you know, a bit more of a tighter fit around your fingers, keep your fingers warm. Once you've done it big enough, you're literally going to fold it in half, right sides together, like that. Just stitch, either mattress stitch or over sew a little bit. So if I open this, turn this one the other way for you. So I over sewed along the cuff to here. So I went down like 1 spike stitch set, just over sewed. Okay. I then put it over my hand like this, because there's no pattern for it. It's kind of guesswork. I thought, right, that's about where my thumb sits. You know, that's nice on my fingers there. That's about right. Yours might be, if you've got really long fingers, you might need to come down a weeny bit more. Okay. I then stopped sewing there, just finished off and buried the end. And then I decided, right, okay, that's about where I want it to sit on at the base of my thumb. Sewed over and over and over and over and over right to the end. Okay. So you can stop at that point. You don't need to do anything else. However, I quite like the fact that these come down over your, oh, that's upside down. These come down over your thumb a little bit, like this. Okay, so it originally looked like that. Okay, so it was literally just the edge of the work. All I did was I just went into, all the way around, I picked up the stitches all the way around there and did 2 rows of double crochet and then just finished off, just to give it a little bit of oomph around my thumb. Okay, really, really simple. You can adapt them for kids. You could do them much smaller for little ones and stuff. These are great for if you're walking the dog and you still want to play on your phone or you answering a text and go take your gloves off. Yeah, lots and lots of things, you know, different ways of adapting them. But it's a really nice stitch. I quite like it. It is really substantial, incredibly quick to do. And grows quite quickly as well. It's quite a nice one because it grows quickly. So any questions or comments there, Al?
There was a lot of book comments. Suzanne said, just finished the latest Jodie Picoult book.
Oh, was that Giver of... Do you want to come up to me a minute, so I can actually talk to people? Because I'm finished with the crochet. Is that Giver of Stars? I think that was Jodie. Was that Jodie Picoult? I think. Oh, I can't remember now. No, who's Jodie, Giver of Stars? I read that one back in the autumn. Really enjoyed that, actually. That was really good.
Nikki said, we binge watched Bridgerton.
Yeah, did that one end of last week. Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It was quite good. Yeah, it was quite good. Complete nonsense, but yeah, quite good. Bit of fantasy nonsense. I mean, he was delicious as well, wasn't he? Yum, yum, yum. Very easy on the eye. What else have I read recently? Oh, I don't know if any of you read the Victoria Hislop books. It's called The Thread. if you're, it's all about a seamstress in Greece. I bought my mum the sequel because she loved the books as well. So I bought my mum the sequel for Christmas. Well, I pre-ordered it months ago because it was out in hardback. She only went and bought it like 3 days before Christmas. I was like, oh, really? So I had to send that back, get something else really quick. But that's a really good one. Victoria Hislop's The Thread. That's a really nice one if you're, it's got a bit of sewing and all in it and stuff as well. So any other questions or comments there? Anything about these? Are you all okay with how to do this? Anything there that I can help with?
Sue said, I want to learn to crochet but it seems difficult. Patterns are unintelligible.
It's so if you go back on our YouTube channel, or right back to the beginning of our Facebook page, it was back in March, we did an intro to crochet little tutorial. If you drop us an email, I've got a really nice learn to crochet PDF that I think it was Serdar, it might have been Starcraft, Serdar gave us, which is a really nice breakdown of how to do the patterns. Start with a granny square. I know it sounds boring, but start with a granny square. It's like with anything, it's when you pick up a quilting pattern and it says, RS TOG, right sides together. You've just got to learn the abbreviations. Or when you're learning to knit, P2, Pearl 2 and whatever. It's about learning those abbreviations. But we have got an intro to crochet right back from March last year. And if you drop us an email, I can send you the little PDF. That's really helpful actually. We use it a lot. I know a lot of our crocheters still use it now, refer back to it. The other person that's really, really good is Bella Coco on YouTube. It's all in British terminology because it's very difficult. A lot of patterns out there are American, and American use slightly different terminology. What we call a double crochet, which is what I've used for this, they call a single. What we call a treble, they call a double. So it can make patterns quite confusing. But if you try Bella Coco on YouTube, she's brilliant. British terminology, British girl. And she does some really, really fabulous tutorials. Really, really worth checking out and subscribing. Anything else there, Al?
Suzanne said it was the Jodie Picoult book, but it was about Egyptian archaeology.
Ooh, interesting. Nice. I'll have a little look at that. Yeah, I'll have a look through your comments later and get some book recommendations because I'm flying through Canland, so I'm going to need something new soon. Anything else there, love? Or we all done for today?
Jean said the first thing I crocheted was a square that was sewn into a rabbit. It was really easy.
Cool. Oh, well done, Han. Yeah, it's have a look on the Gigglers page. Claire, bless her, has been learning to crochet over the last few weeks, and I'm not laughing at you at all, my darling, because it did make me giggle. Her first little attempt, she very bravely put it on the Gigglers, and it was a right little mess of knots and stuff. But you should see the bowl within a week. You should see the bowl she made. It was beautiful, really, really lovely. So it's just practice, and a bit of perseverance. So, but yeah, Claire's doing brilliantly, and she's a real newbie. So. It's been lovely actually to see your progression over the last sort of 10 days or so from this little mess of knots up to your bowl and things. So but have a check out on the YouTube our other videos, and like I said, I can always send you that leaflet if you drop us an email. Anything else there?
There's a thanks from Sue.
Cool, fabulous. Right, I'm going to get going because we've got to get this stuff up to our chanda, so I need to go and get packing. We are back tomorrow, 1 o'clock as usual. I've got block of the week tomorrow, and then Sarah's back on Thursday with labels. So I will, if there's no other questions there, I will love you and leave you, and see you tomorrow, guys. Take care. Bye.